And now, America's Midweek Review. Welcome to the Midweek Review on August 26th, 2020. And I am your host. Glad to have you guys here with us today, where we're moving and shaking and getting all the great news out there to everyone across the United States of America. Excited to have you guys here with me today, and got a lot of stuff to get off into today. Welcome everyone, our fans and followers that are accumulating on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Love to have you guys there. Love to see you guys there, and love all the new people that are coming on board too as well, where real news and opinion meet head to head. But opening headlines this week, we have the Republican convention. Lots of fun there. The Republicans are being led by President Donald Trump, and they're in complete attack mode. They are attacking. They're like a dog on a stinking bone. And the headliners are captioned, is what I see in my mind. As you look at the speeches, you look at everyone talking about the impact of the United States of America. Melania Trump, a beautiful, elegant speech she gave just on yesterday. And the gratefulness you see of people that are grateful for the opportunity that we have here. And that's why it's important for us to be beacons of hope. And the way we are that hope is share the news and share the news with everyone out there. So many speeches, so many incredible talks, people of caliber and character and accomplishment, people that have actually done things, created payrolls in their lifetime. Just a vast difference, not wanting to be on the government dole, not wanting government to get bigger and bigger and bloated, just like a pufferfish that ate all the other little pufferfish in the sea. But that's the difference I see from that last week's showdown giveaway. You know, if you're going to be giving stuff away, can I get that MetLife sweepstakes windbreaker giveaway, please? Can I get one? Yeah, right over here. But Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, he drops the gauntlet. He was in straight attack mode tonight. And he was basically saying that you won't be safe in Joe Biden's America. Mike Pence accuses the Democratic candidate of failing to stand by the thin blue line and planning to deliver a socialism as he delivers the RNC speech at Fort McHenry, and says Donald Trump will bring back law and order as you see all the cities being burned and falling into peril due to so many other activist groups that are out there and not fighting for America. It is a sad state of affairs looking at the news every single day. But Pence spoke from Fort Henry in Baltimore for his convention speech on Wednesday. As usual, he praised President Donald Trump, blasted Joe Biden for saying no miracle is coming on coronavirus. We're finding our way forward again. And if you think about that for a second, just think about that. Finding your way forward. The way you learn how to walk. You took one step, you fell, you took another step. After you got up, you fell again. I don't really see too many people. In fact, if you were a baby and you fell the first time and bumped your head and got a little goose egg right there on top. Oh no, I'm not trying to walk no more. Just give up, you know. A 35-year-old man sitting in the corner, waiting for his mother to bring him some food because he did not want to walk due to fear. Then Vice President Pence says that Biden is nothing but a Trojan horse for the radical left. President Trump joined Pence on stage after his speech. Trump and Melania then posed for long-distance selfies with speech attendees. Long distance, you know, the social distancing thing. That's a word that's not being said very much right now either, if you think about it. Everyone's just going back into their normal behaviors, their normal patterns. And, you know, and once again, we'll look back on this 15, 20 years from now, and we'll have treated it similar to probably a flu because it's probably going to be here to stay. Absolutely. But before we move on, a little bit of housekeeping here. You guys can also find these episodes of the Midweek Review over on SoundCloud. That is the Midweek Review, and that's going to be at the American's Voice and Yanni on SoundCloud. The Midweek Review episodes are there as well. But on to Kellyanne Conway. You guys already know that she's departing from the Trump administration due to more time with her family. And over the years, you guys seen how belligerent her husband has been. And he totally reminds me of a Star Wars creature. I think it starts with JH, I think the initials are. Anyways, But she's leaving, and she reflects over on Fox News. There was a little article there, and she was reflecting on leaving the White House amidst of her husband's attacks on Trump. And she said, "I do not let anyone define me." Kellyanne Conway also spoke tonight as well. This is a stand-up lady, and she has tough skin and thickness. You know, there's a point in time when she was dealing with the media out there, and you would have these press conferences that she would do. And it is a total thing of beauty, being that she would pummel and manhandle and maul every single reporter that asked an idiotic question, insulting her intelligence. And so that right there would definitely be missed, but it's almost like a trade-off because we have Kayleigh McEnany that's right there as well as the press secretary. But the White House counselor Kellyanne Conway addressed her husband's public rebuke of President Trump Wednesday in one of her final interviews before she departs the administration. And I know it's a sad time for her. She's been loyal to the president. She's been faithful to the administration, but she's also been there a nice voice amidst all the attacks as well for the American people. So everyone give Kellyanne Conway a clap and also a cheer as she goes on to her life and wish the best for her. Telling the story that she tries to use my social media platform not to attack people, Conway has largely kept her personal life hidden from the public, and she does do a great job by that, often dodging questions about her attorney husband George's scathing criticism of Trump on Twitter, which is another one having conniption fits every time he sees a Trump article, a Trump ad, a Trump commercial, President Trump walking down the street. He goes crazy. And so we won't miss him. So as she leaves and packs up, she will be missed. His belligerent actions will not. And you can catch the rest of that article right there over at foxnews.com. But Kellyanne Conway's speech tonight was it was about 5.5 minutes. Beautiful speech, showing her gratitude of the President of the United States. And this is the side of Trump that you're hearing these stories that people don't normally hear every single day amongst the bashing and the bullets going across the bow in the media every single day. But Trump has a side too as well, and his stories need to be told as well. He's a human being. He ran for the presidency the first time and he won. On the other side, you have President Joe Biden want to be. And they're talking about how nice of a man Joe is, but you listened to the message last week. And this is something to think about. Listen to the message to compare the two. Listen how the Republican message flows like a crescendo of music on a sheet of paper. Just look at the music. It's so beautiful. Look at it. The Democrats, their music is all distorted. In fact, someone with dyslexia has been writing their music. In fact, he doesn't know how to write music. And so therefore, they're trying to backtrack and gather themselves because now there is a dip in the polls and Joe Biden and all the camp around him, they're getting nervous, assuming that the worst will happen. And that will happen because the polls are going in the favor of Donald Trump. In the battleground states, you guys remember just a couple of months ago, the president was down 10 points plus. He was up against the ropes. And yes, he was attempting to be defeated by Hologram Man, the virtual candidate. Over in Pennsylvania, Trump versus Biden. Biden 49 and Trump is 46. There's a 3-point margin right there. Over in Michigan, CNBC channel and research. Biden is 50, Trump 44. There's a 6-point margin there. Wisconsin has Biden at 49, Trump at 44. Wisconsin Trafalgar Group has Biden at 45, Trump at 46. 1 point in favor of Trump. North Carolina, CNBC has Biden at 47 and Trump at 48. And so that's just a little bit, guys. As you guys can see, that's for Wednesday, August 26th. The polls are tightening. And because of the fires and the looting and the rioting and the bashing in the windows and robbing stores and taking shoes and buying your whole wardrobe with the 5-finger discount, that's what they're doing. The polls are starting to edge in the president's favor because President Trump is a law and order president, and the Democrats are sitting back on their hands saying nothing, like they're listening to the president's State of the Union speech, and he's talking about women being successful in his administration. They sit on their hands. But back to Kellyanne Conway, the counselor to the president. Over at Breitbart, counselor to the president Kellyanne Conway said at the Republican National Convention Wednesday night that Trump helped her shatter a barrier in politics by becoming the first woman to run a successful presidential campaign. And I'm going to tell you what she did was something extraordinary to see and witness with your eyes. Kellyanne Conway said President Donald Trump spent decades elevating women to senior positions in the workplace, which The media will tell you a different story. They say women are oppressed, especially if they are Republicans. He confides in me and consults us, respects our opinions, and insists that we are equal footing with men, Conway said. President Trump helped me shatter the barriers in the world of politics by empowering me to manage his campaign to a successful conclusion. With the help of millions of Americans and our team, defied the critics and the naysayers and conventional wisdom, and we won. And so kudos to Kellyanne Conway. She gave a graceful speech tonight, and she is going out into the sunset. So good luck, Kellyanne Conway, and we are moving on. There was a title fight this week, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't know if you guys heard about it, but it was a super heavyweight title fight. It was, yes, on the 25th of August, and it was yesterday. I saw the fight, and I'm sure millions of Americans seen the fight too as well, unawarely that the fight was actually happening in front of their eyes. But it was a big, big fight, free, no pay-per-view needed at all. But yesterday on Brian Kilmeade's show, I think it's time for me to make a Donna Brazil meatball sub sandwich. Nah, instead, let's scratch that idea. Ew, that's kind of gross. You see the actions of many wearing the weathered armor of the Democratic Party. For those who assume the far left position, I'm sure you're always open to have a logical, substantial debate, right? Crushing the everyday assumptions held by many that the Democrats are closed-minded, intolerant. They abuse their power every time they have it, every time they get their meaty mitts on them. Say one word they don't like and use it. The delivery, the appearance, a particular brand, a particular scent, a particular person. They deem it offensive? You have not risen to the standards of the royal. Voice an opinion on Black Lives Matter, Antifa, Planned Parenthood, LBGTQ, and every other organization like them. Battle trannies. Say something wrong, and you see them emerging from the forest with torches and pitchforks to pursue you like Frankenstein. You just had a couple of brand new bolts put in your neck on the side there, and you're having a great day, and here they come. Pick your creature, the Loch Ness Monster. How about Bigfoot? They fall into a state of incoherent, and they blow their stacks. This happens quickly across the United States of America. Well, when the fight began, I sat patiently with my bucket of popcorn, and I had my extra large Diet Pepsi. I was excited about that one because they did not have Coke Zero. But to give you guys some insight, this is a little bit how the match started for those who missed it. In this corner we have former female left activist. She is a well-known Fox News contributor and debate champion. She's a lady with a gun, Tammy Bruce. And her opponent, a Democrat, and sliding farther to the left. In the 2016 campaign, she slipped answers to Hillary Clinton. She is undefeated in not being able to see a conservative point of view. I bring to you Donna Brazil. And that's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. So much fun. They were bobbing and weaving and jabbing and blood all over the mat. It was amazing. You saw the cut man in the corner and talking each side to victory. But the Brian Kilmeade show yesterday. Brian Kilmeade was an innocent bystander, and he was standing there minding his own business, drinking a cup of coffee. And they were having a discussion, an open discussion. Herschel Walker was on right before that. And they were having a discussion about the opening night of the Republican National Convention. Brian asked everyone their opinion. And when the coast was clear, Donna Brazil decided to take the high road. Ladies and gentlemen, we have exhibit number 1, left-leaning Democrat. Cut number 1, please.
We're talking about the story that the Republicans are trying to tell this week. We heard what the Democrats, what a platform told last week. I'm speaking to the Republicans, and what I heard, they're speaking to the choir. And that's fine, because I, like a churchgoer, I want to hear that music. I want to understand what that is.
I just love how every single time we want to make a point and make like separation between ourselves and a topic that is taboo, we love to invoke God. Just amazing. Continue.
Hurricanes, but praying for the family. And his name is Jacob Blake, praying for his family, praying that this man survives so that he could tell his story. That is what we should do when we're at these conventions. Tell the story. Now, tell your story. We told ours, and I appreciate the Republicans telling theirs. And then it's up to the Americans.
And there you have it. Part of her platform, her boxing style. She comes out looking to draw first blood, and it looks like she nicked Tammy just a little bit. But she came out swinging. Blow one. She does not acknowledge that there was an altercation between Mr. Blake and also the police officers, or there was a scuffle. She does not acknowledge with blow two that he had a weapon. She does not acknowledge with blow number three that he is a criminal that with a past history of violence and abuse. And so she comes out swinging and she draws blood. Neither opponent is against the ropes, but when we come back, we're going to continue to talk and discuss about what I saw and what you probably saw if you caught the fight here on the Midweek Review. Stay right there. Be right back.
Shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on. Shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on. In violent times, you shouldn't have to sell your soul. In black and white, they really ought to know. Those one try.
Everyone, welcome back to the Midweek Review. You guys are here with Yanni, your host, and we are discussing the heavyweight bout that happened, the title fight that happened just on yesterday. And, you know, just a quick observation, something I was thinking about last segment when Donna Brazile was talking about her views and what she believed and, you know, expressing herself. And as she started talking about the Mr. Blake and, you know, other things, as she was veering off of that road, that path, Tammy Bruce, if you go over to Mediaite.com, Tammy Bruce, she's looking like, yeah, here we go. Just the expression. And she's ready for her exchange and her chance to have a shot at knocking her senseless up against the turnbuckle. Cut number 2, please.
It's up to the American people to decide which story they like. That's what these
Tammy, go ahead.
conventions all
Fake.
about.
Yeah, look, thanks for letting me get a word in edgewise here. The fact of the matter is
Always.
we're talking about the differences between the parties. We're not going to bubble it out and set it aside. Fact of the matter is Joe Biden's had almost half a century of being in Washington, D.C., and you look at the condition of the Democrat Party, the dour hopelessness of that message, that this is Hillary Clinton's message that he should not concede under any circumstances, the desperation that is there because...
Donna Brazile, as you're looking at the video, she is still on the road, but this road looks a little bit different. Exhibit number 2, a Democrat realizing they're being owned. Tammy Bruce is coming out with a fierce exchange of blows, and she's a combination of kidney shots, jabs. She has totally put a pummeling on Mrs. Brazile, and she looks stunned like a morbidly obese man at the back of the deli counter asking for all of the meat in the back and surprised that he gets turned down and rejected. She is totally startled. Continue.
No, they can't persuade the American people. You might be dismissed last night and the next 3 days as preaching to the choir, but that is the problem with the Democrat point of view, is that they don't consider it a message that Americans represent, that Americans want to hear, that is a part of our everyday lives. It's not just in a political isolation chamber. This is who we are and what matters. And I think that clearly the Republicans have that understanding directly. It's about education. It's about health care. It's about faith. And it is about a man who cares about the American people more than he cares about his next job and winning in the sense of, oh, it's just got to be about the next election. He has given up everything, as has his family, to change this nation and get her back on her feet so we as Americans can live lives that best suit us.
Donna is being owned. The bell rings and Tammy Bruce calmly goes to her corner. But what happened after that? Brian Kilmeade was not even ready for this. The powder keg is about to blow, and you can see the seething irritation that Donna Brazile is feeling because her opponent is pummeling her face into the canvas. Here is the clip where it starts to erupt and all the wheels fall off the train and the train is going off of the frickin' bridge. Cut 3, please.
This is why the choir sounds like
want to win the next
coming
election.
from a scratch record.
Well,
it sounds like I will never be an American in your world because after 400 years, my family cannot.
Of course you are.
That is not what anyone
walk out this house without hearing violence.
No one is saying that.
Tammy, listen,
Donna,
yes, you
nobody
are.
was saying
because
that. You can
Tammy,
enjoy
you
last
are saying
night.
that to
Last
me.
night was
You
your
are saying,
message
what are
as
you
well.
saying to me?
Last night was.
And it got worse from there. It was a brutal fight. And the one that came out almost unscathed was Tammy Bruce. She was the one talking and speaking clearly with a cohesive message, a coherent message of unity of the Republican Party. And Donna Brazile was the big loser. On to other news. Black Lives Matter. They have a huge problem spurring all across America. And, you know, if you look at a movement from the past, just something to think about. Any movement that was beneficial to any country, any force, any company, there was a profit loss sheet. There was a return on your investment. But there's a problem with Black Lives Matter. In the news, there again, there's a bit of horrible news here because the constructive change that any activist group bringing forth into our country, that activist group or that change should be for the positive because this country is built on morals, principles, the Constitution, being able to be free and own your firearms. They don't like that one, but that's okay. Over in the Daily Mail, there was a horrible piece. A police-obsessed gunman, 17, who is charged with murder of 2 Black Lives Matter protesters during Kenosha riots, sat front row at a Trump MAGA rally. It is so amazing that they always bring up Trump. He's always drawn and dragged into the universe. He is always brought into the epicenter. He is the middle, the center of all the evil and corruption in the world. I find that quite disturbing. As a video interview emerged of him bragging about being a vigilante before the mayhem unfolded, it says here that just a couple of things. The footage has emerged of him showing Kyle Rittenhouse attending a rally in Des Moines, Iowa in January. The 17-year-old was arrested on Wednesday in his hometown of Antioch, Illinois, and charged with first-degree murder, intentional homicide, following the shooting death of 2 protesters. A video interview taken before the shooting showed Rittenhouse bragging about his role as a vigilante. He told the reporter that he was patrolling the streets of Kenosha to provide medical assistance and protect local businesses from looters. There is a reason why the frontal lobe needs to be developed before children should be out there handling guns, especially nowadays with the climate that we're living in. 25, 35, 45 years ago, there was a sense of responsibility with the kids. Nowadays, video games being corrupted, their minds full of mush is just messed up and deranged, and so sad. 2 people have died, but the dramatic video captured moments. One moment before one victim was shot in the head, another was shot in the chest shortly before midnight on Tuesday. A third man was shot in the arm, but he survived. Pray for those families there as well. To look at the canvas of the Black Lives Matter platform, it should be bringing positive change. I'm going to be talking a little bit as we move farther down into the program about other things that are involved with the Black Lives Matter program. That is something to think about if you want positive change. On to a little bit of sports news. It is the return of the woke Avengers. The return of the woke Avengers. This week, because of the shooting of Mr. Blake in Wisconsin, sports teams have a trick up their sleeve. While being paid millions of dollars and sucking sometimes, they hate the country, they burn the American flags, they support Black Lives Matter, and like now, they're standing down from their duties, which the spoiled brats, they live like kings, and they thumb their nose at the hard-working, everyday Americans, the fans that pay their exorbitant prices, the popcorn and hot dogs and the trinkets and this and that. Grandma walks up to the concession stand there. Can I please get a packet of ketchup? That'll be 50 cents. How could you do that to grandmother? But anyways, welcome to the game. You're starting the season. You're a middle-class American. Mid-season, you're feeling kind of weathered. At the end of the season, you're broke and destitute. The NBA have drained you of all of your resources, and the rest of the woke justice warriors playing a game being paid millions and millions of dollars. What a great gig. But I have some questions for you, though. Not so fast. If you're going to boycott the games because of the shooting, but the article says here, can I get my down voice, my voice with a little echo there?
The NBA is on the brink. LA Lakers and LA Clippers, led by LeBron James, vote to end the season hours after Bucks boycott game over Wisconsin chaos as MLB, MLS, and WNBA teams call off games in solidarity.
It is so much easier to have solidarity and be so strong, so tough, and use this big platform to talk all types of trash when you're sitting in your $18 million home, gated community, and you're not out there on the streets. So many hypocrites. But they're planning to postpone the game or end the season. How could this be? They just started. So are you telling me they're still going to get paid all these millions off of sitting on their rear ends? Possibly. But back to the questions. Something to think about. Did you see the parent statement? What the parents of Mr. Blake said? She doesn't want rioting and looting or none of the sort of things being done in her son's name. She does not want the repeat of George Floyd or anyone else out in the American media. So did you hear the parent statement? You NBA players, or you MLB players, or you WNBA players? Second, do you have all the facts? I've noticed over the past 2 or 3 years, it seems celebrities and everyone else have been becoming dumber. They've been dumbed down by the American media and not reading a book. Third, what prompted the altercation? To start, I don't think cops are just walking up on people and start bullying them, asking for their milk money. Hey, give me that milk money. While they're standing at the bus stop. No, these bad, evil cops transform into beasts, running up and down the streets in their squad cars and riot gear, jumping out on every black man they see walking down the street enjoying an ice cream cone. That totally is not true. It is extremely false. I am a black man, which my birthday is tomorrow, and I feel great about that. But back to what I was saying, though. These justice warriors are damaging the game. Sports was always a venue for the American people to get away from politics, to get away from their stress, to get away from their everyday life, and everyone come together, no politics, no religion, and enjoy a good sport. But it has been corrupted and politicized, and it is a shame in the United States of America. But I look at this piece here, and what the NBA is seeing is it says that Blake, a black 29-year-old father, the color doesn't matter. If he's black or white or blue or purple, he is a human being with a life. But it says a black 29-year-old father of 3, oh, look at the story, was shot 7 times in the back by Kenosha, Wisconsin police who were responding to a domestic disturbance call. Now, the way they paint the picture, it is so deceptive. It is so wrong because you look at a man, and as I hear this and I read that, if I'm completely ignorant and I am a low information voter, I would read this article and say, oh, I would see a picture in my mind of a man and his family. You see the portrait. They're happy. They got a little dog. They got a picket fence. They have all these things. They're living the American dream. And here comes the bad Kenosha Police Department harassing him while he was eating his ice cream cone. Sad state of affairs. And so the NBA, they're going to see their ratings slip and fall week in and week out if they do not change their direction. Apocalyptic Category 4 Hurricane Laura makes landfall in Louisiana with a catastrophic 150-mile-an-hour winds as Gulf prepares for unsurvivable storm surge that will cause many casualties. Hurricane Laura made a landfall in southwest Louisiana with extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane, the National Hurricane Center said. The storm, which intensified rapidly Wednesday before plowing into land, came ashore at 1 a.m. Central Standard Time near Cameron, Louisiana. It was a maximum sustained winds of 150 miles an hour, making it the most powerful hurricane to strike the U.S. so far this year. The storm surge could penetrate inland from between Freeport, Texas, and the mouth of Mississippi River. It could raise water levels as high as 20 feet in parts of Cameron's Parish, Louisiana. So you guys in Louisiana, you probably should move your feet and get the ducking out of there and take care of yourself. We pray for you guys in Louisiana, and we also pray for our great country. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining me today on the Midweek Review. Have a great week. See ya.